Hello, magical people of the internet. I'm Jen, and welcome to my vlog I never thought I would, where we talk about doing things we never thought we would do and the fantastic places that they can lead us. I have a fabulous guest today. She's a writer, she's a director, she's a performer, and she's here with us today to tell us a fascinating story about doing something she never thought she would. Hello, Caramel Lucas.
Hello. Hey, how are you, Jennifer?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I am great. I am great living the life.
Great,
So, yeah,
exactly. Making the best of it, pandemic or not.
exactly. You have to do what you got to do, right?
I totally agree. So, you have such a fascinating, eclectic array of things that you do from your writing to your performance. You've directed commercials, music videos. You're such a creative talent. And usually, creatives have a little bit of a wild imagination, or dare I say, wild side. So, I'm sure you might have done, one or two things you never thought you would.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Do
Yeah.
you mind sharing one of those for us today?
Of course. So, when when in my journey, I was a model in the beginning of my career, and that's where I started as a model. Okay. And for a long time, everybody was telling me how funny I was. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. But I never imagined myself ever being a comedian, a stand up comedian, and face a lot of people because I was shy when I was growing up. I didn't really talk to a lot of people. A lot of people, you know, came to me and talked to me, but I never thought that I would talk to an audience. I was very shy, very timid. I was tall, skinny with glasses, and I was like, oh no, I'm scared to talk to people. But being a comedian was the best thing I ever did in my life. I love talking to people now. I'm very open. I'm very crazy. I have that wild side of me a little bit, but it's just like you can do whatever you want to do. You just have to put your foot forward, right? And I was like, let me just try it and see how it goes because I start with improving first, build
Hmm.
my self-esteem up, and then that's when I said I could do stand up. And I was going to quit at first because the first time I did stand up, I bombed big time. And I was like, you know how some people get discouraged? They were like, I can't do this. This is too much for me. That motivated me to
That's
do better
amazing.
for myself. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because when we're adults, we forget how many times we literally fell on our ass as a
Hmm.
child or a toddler, like learning to walk. We fell on our ass literally hundreds of times trying to get up on 2 feet or learning to ride that bicycle. How many times did we fall off the bike before we could
Right.
actually get it? And it's funny because when we're an adult, we think that as we grow up we become more brave, but that's not the reality
It's,
of it.
no, it's not.
become,
It's not.
we become so self-conscious, like we're not afraid of physically falling anymore, but we're afraid of, as you said, like bombing in front of people.
Right.
So okay, so you started off as a model, so you're in the
Yes.
fashion world, you're this
Yep.
tall, beautiful, shy woman. What prompted you? And I understand, friends saying that you're funny and stuff, but there are a
I
lot of
want
people whose friends say they're funny. So yeah.
exactly. I
So what
wanted
what prompted you to take the improv, and where did you take improv, and then how did that lead to stand up?
I took improv at Ab Live Theater, and I did it just to build my confidence up. And I wanted to get out of my shell because I
Mhm.
wanted to be more open. I mean, I can laugh with my friends all day, they think I'm funny and crazy anyway. But I wanted to do more, something bigger for myself and see can I do it, accomplish something different in my life. And so when I went to Ad Lib and did the improving, I loved it, and I did it for 5 years. I just love making up things and doing things. It's off a beat, and I love that. And then after the 5 years, I was like, I want to step up myself and see, do I have the courage to stand in front of audience and talk to them and make them laugh and see what happens. And I did. I went to Orlando Improv, and when I did that, I did the first time I went there, I bombed, and then I did it again. I said, no, I'm going back and do this again. And then I did good, and then I just felt like maybe I should travel a little bit and just to see what people think. So I went to Indianapolis, Atlanta, Virginia. I went to Naples, Florida, and I did a drag up show for drag queens, and I did that twice, and I had a good time, and they loved me. So I was like, I love this. I love being a comedian, stand up comedian. It's just making people laugh, and you get the feel whatever they go through during the day. You that person that make them laugh.
Mhm.
And I love stuff like that. But yeah, girl, I was like, honey, I love it. I do adult comedies, mostly, but I could do clean comedy. I just like talking junk. I just like to be BSing all the time. You know what I mean? And it's fun. And that's what I never thought I was going to be a comedian, but when I did it, I was like, I can't stop now
Yeah, and you
because
definitely defy the odds because I know in the entertainment business they say that women can either be funny or they can be pretty. And there's this horrible stereotype out there that you can't be pretty and funny. And there are so many
exactly.
gorgeous, absolutely beautiful female comedians out there who
Yes.
are funny. I don't know who made that rule, probably a man.
Exactly. And it's so much harder than a woman to be on stage than a man, because they're looking for a certain, I don't know. It's just like when you're on stage as a woman, you got to go harder than a man do because it's so easy for them. They're gonna immediately laugh. But if you, I'm just saying, if you're pretty and you're funny, they're gonna look at you and try to find something wrong with you.
Exactly, because there's more judgment. Well, first of all, just in the world in general, people judge
Right.
women more harshly than they do
Yeah.
men. And
Yeah.
and it's funny how you can get up there and your job is to make people laugh, but they will automatically start judging you on your appearance. And it's like, oh no, no, no,
Yes.
I'm not doing a photo shoot today. This isn't for a magazine cover. I am here to
Right.
make you laugh. It has nothing to do with this. But people have such a hard time of separating it.
Yeah.
And so women comedians do kind of have to like hit it harder, as you said, and like push through this barrier of,
Yep.
I can be fierce and hot and funny all at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's like way harder, but I love it. And the guys will they'll look down on you. The other male comedians sometimes look down on female comedians, but that's okay. Sometimes they don't, sometimes they do. Depends on who the person is.
Well,
But at the end of
and
the
that's
day,
anywhere, that's any
I
industry,
don't,
right?
right. I don't really, right. That's any industry. So I don't care. We just got to push hard and keep it moving. Stand with the men. Like I could stand with you too. So let's go.
Mhm.
So it's fun. I love it. I just love making people laugh. And I just love being me. So that's
Has
who I
it
really am.
Yes. Has it been hard for you during the pandemic because a lot of clubs haven't been open? Have you been doing Zoom shows? Like, how have you been able to, number one, stay in practice, and number two, like have that outlet? Because, as a creative, it's like you feel suffocated when you don't have the opportunity
Exactly.
to do your thing. So
Exactly.
how have you like made a go of things?
So when the pandemic happened, of course, all the clubs shut down, and so I started writing more jokes, getting
Mhm.
my jokes together. But then I said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be a podcaster, and I'm gonna do this while the time go by because I love getting on stage, being in front of people. So as the time went by, I started doing podcasting, and that's going very well. Never thought I was going to do that either, but it happened. So it's going very well. And so recently, since everything is opening, I'm
Mhm.
doing now with a restaurant called Pizza Avenue Restaurant, and I'm doing open mic there. I'm doing my comedian work there every month, and I'm letting other people come in and do comedian and do whatever, like poetry, comedy, or some kind of musician to come in and start showing their talent. So I'm a host of that now. And so we're rolling along with that. So people can get an opportunity to come out and just show their talent and just have a good time with other people now. So I host that.
That's so cool. And it's amazing how, you're building a community that helps nurture other people's
Right.
talent. It's not just about you. Um,
No, no.
you know, and it's amazing because we really do need a community. It doesn't matter what we're doing, but especially in the creative world, you know,
Right.
it takes a
Yes.
village. It takes a village. You can't, and even you can't perform to an empty room. You need the village there. You need someone to
Exactly.
laugh at the jokes.
Exactly. And Zoom is not for me when it comes to comedy because I like to interact with people. I like to be like picking people out or saying something to somebody or even laugh, like joke with them, play with them. Our first show was last month in May, and it went very well. And so we just continuing on, and everybody loves it, and everybody's like, I love the way you host, and you funny, and I'm like, okay, let's come back next time. I just love people. I just love making people smile. I mean, I'm just who I am. I have that wild side, like you said. I'm wild, and I'm loud and wild, and I
Well,
love it.
congratulations on the show.
Thank
That's
you.
so exciting. And it's exciting to, you know, kind of have control of it. You know, the venue, you know, the people who are
Right.
going to come. That's a really amazing thing because I know a lot of comedians. I do stand-up comedy as well. And the ones who, yes, the ones who you know, who promote their own shows and like, you know, put in the effort are the ones that I see going the furthest in terms of like their career because
Yeah.
it's about relationships, it's about networking, it's about nurturing other people and helping them get their time and helping them get their spot. It's not, there's a spot for everybody. You know, if
Yes.
you're willing to do the work and you're good, there's a spot for you. Nobody's ever going to say like, oh no, I've seen enough comedy, like I don't need to laugh again. No.
Exactly.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And
Exactly.
so there's a spot for everyone. And I think that's so cool. So you started off with comedy, writing jokes, and now you have a book. You have a book called In Love with the Other Man. So
Oh yes.
So I want to hear about the book, but before we get into what the book is about, how did this book happen? How did the book come about?
Well, I love to write, period. And I love writing poetry first, and then I decided, I'm a poetry writer. And so I decided like I want to do something different. I'm always my mind is always going somewhere else. And I don't know, but I wanted to do something different and I wanted to be a writer. So I was like, I'm gonna just, write this book and see how it goes and see the people like what I write, and
Mm.
2013, that's when I wrote the book, and I wrote it. And then after I wrote it, I was like, okay, let's see who's gonna buy it, who's gonna like it, and it went good. Everybody asked me, "Where's the second book?" And I'm like, "Oh, so they want me to have a second one, okay?" But the book is very good. It's erotic. It's an erotic book. I believe when you look at Lifetime or Hallmark or whatever you look at, even like soap operas, like Young and the Restless, it's always something there, adventurous, something erotic is going on, or emotions, and I decided to do something like that, something like a Lifetime thing,
Yeah, well,
and
sex is
yeah,
what makes the world go round. That's why we're all
it,
here.
hello. So
Hello.
so I decided to do that, and it's amazing. I mean, am I going to write another one? Yeah. But when? Sometimes it takes time to do it because I'm so busy doing everything else. So
Exactly.
I have to sit down and have that time to do it. So yeah, I just did it just to see can I accomplish it, and I did a good job on it. So I was like, okay,
That's
this is all.
amazing. You're such an inspiration. You just put your mind to it and you're able to achieve anything that you try, like from improv to stand-up comedy to poetry. Now you have this book. It's amazing. So tell us a little bit about what this erotic, sexy book is
Woo!
about.
Let me tell you, girl. Let me tell you. So so the book is basically like four friends, and the four friends all have separate lives, but they're close, they're bonded. So what I did with the book was, it's Keisha, Tanya, Denise, and Liz, and I separated each character in the book to tell you a little bit about each one of them.
Mhm.
For example, Denise is a single woman. She's married with her husband named Eric. He loves her very much, and she's like the mother of the friends. She tried to keep the peace.
Mhm.
She's always there, always, making sure that everybody is together. You know, but she was trying to have a baby and she couldn't.
Mhm.
And her husband stuck by her. I feel like sometimes when I wrote her character, is it's like I was looking at the world and listening to certain people. When I write my books, it's about certain people, just change the names. And in the world with Denise, it's mothers like that want kids and can't have kids, and I just want them to relate to her. And
Mhm.
then I have Keisha, who's had a boyfriend and she was abused by her boyfriend
Mhm.
mentally and physically. And she didn't know how to get out the situation. But now she's a boss. Now she got out the situation. She don't want a man right now. She wants to live her life. She's making money. She's doing what she can do. And that her character was telling that women don't have to have a man to do what you need to do. You can be
Mhm.
independent without a man, you
Mhm.
know? And then I had Tanya. Tanya is the youngest one of the group, and Tanya is off the chain. Tanya is wild. She doesn't care who she mess with. She don't care what she do. She don't care how she do it. But she has a daughter that's 5 years old, but she leaves her daughter with her mother to raise.
Mhm.
And that's what that's about. And then we have Liz, who's married with 3 kids, a husband that cheats, and a lot of people don't like him. His name is Frank, and a lot of people get mad at him. Every time they read about Frank, they get so upset. But it's a story because Liz lived her life for her family,
Mhm.
and she been with this man for a long time, and it comes to a point that her oldest son, Xavier, gets upset and starts to be the man of the house because he's tired of what his father's doing to his mother. And that story is so emotional
Mhm.
that I think people relate to it. And Frank doesn't care; he just does whatever he wants to do, and it's people like that too. So a lot of people relate to Liz. And so what I did was I took Liz and made a movie out of it.
Oh, wow. That's exciting. Well, I want
I
to talk about the movie in 1 second, but it sounds like all of these characters are really relatable in different ways. Even if one individual isn't going through the same thing that Liz is
Right.
going through, maybe they're more like a Keisha character, you can still
Hmm.
understand all of it because we all have friends and family who've gone through
Exactly.
cheating, abuse, um, maybe having a kid too young, not being ready to
Hmm.
raise the kid, wanting to still go out and party and not kind of take the responsibility.
Responsibility. Hmm.
Yeah. So all of these stories, like everything you're telling me is like, oh, I know someone like that. I know someone like that. Maybe that's a little like me. I'm not going to tell you which one.
Exactly. So that's why the reason why I wrote the book, because I just wanted everybody to relate to the book,
Yeah.
and I feel like people do relate to the book because a lot of people told me that when they got to put the book in their hand, they didn't want to put it down
That's the
because
best compliment a writer can get.
mhm. And
Yeah.
so some people told me they read the whole book and like they read the whole book and I'm like, wow. And it was like I couldn't put it down. It's just like I want a second one because the way you put these characters was amazing. And that's a good thing because I was like, oh, because I was so scared. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was scared. And I was like, people's not gonna like this book. But then they was like, this is awesome.
Well, because you
So
put a lot of yourself into it,
yeah,
not necessarily your story, but you put your heart and your soul, your time, your blood, your sweat into this,
yeah.
birthing a creative child. And of course, there's the insecurity is like, are they going to like my baby?
Exactly. And that's exactly how I was like, oh my God, I don't know. Because when it was published, I was like, oh my God, Lord, I'm so scared. But
Yeah.
it came out, yeah, it was good. So everybody liked it. So,
Oh, that's so exciting. So now tell me about this movie you made about Liz.
woo, 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 woo. So, Liz, I decided to make a movie about Liz because everybody came to me and said that Liz was one of their favorite characters.
Oh, fabulous.
And I was like, wow. this is crazy, because Liz was going through more problems than anybody that was in the book.
Mhm.
So I pulled Liz out from the book and made a movie. I written it, I directed it, and I produced it.
And what's the
And
movie called?
In Love with the Other Man.
Okay, so it's
So
the same title.
it's the same title, and the reason why I did that so people can know it relates to the book.
Mhm.
And um, basically, the book is about Liz's life.
Mhm.
You know how the Liz, it's other characters in it, but it's about Liz. You know, and how things changed for her as she started to realize that she's beautiful. She's not only a mother with 3 kids, but she has a beautiful soul, a beautiful heart. And what happens from there? Oh, you got to watch the movie,
Yes.
girl.
Okay, so now let's get to all the important stuff. Where do we find the movie? Where do we find the book? Where do we find the podcast? And where do we find you?
Woo! Okay. So you will find the book on my website. Um, my book, my movie, everything that I do is on my website. And my website is www.caramellucas.net. And you can, if you go to the film section, you can click on the book, and you also can click on the movies on YouTube, and you can look at the movie on YouTube. And but you have to put your age in, because it's 17 and up. You
Okay.
know, and you can find me on Anchor, and it's called Keeping It Real with Caramel. And you can also find me at Substacks, as my writing, creative writing at Keeping It Real with Caramel. And you can find me on Instagram at Miss Caramel Lucas. And you can find me on Facebook and LinkedIn as Caramel Lucas.
Excellent. And of course, we will have all the links below to make it easy for everybody to find you. And can you tell us once again about your monthly open mic, what city it's in, what the venue is? We'll have the link to that as well in case anybody wants to come and see you perform, or maybe try and get up themselves.
Yeah, that's what I want. Like, do not, please come and try. But it's located at, it's Pisa Avenue at 1555 Cimarron Boulevard, Winter Park, Florida 32792. It's going to start at 8:30 and it's going to end at 12. Um, the open mic starts at 10, so 8:30 is when you can come get your food and all this good stuff. 10 o'clock is when everybody performs. And just come out and listen to me. Like, this is going to be awesome. I love new talent. I love people just to try. If you think you can't do it, this is the perfect time to try. And we have a videographer there, so you can look back on your stuff and make sure that you're doing a good job. So when you go in the big world, the only thing you have to do is say, "Camera told you this is how you do it." So this is gonna be awesome.
Amazing. And if they're not a comedian, they can bring a song or a poem.
Yeah, a psalm or a poet. I love poetry, and if you want to do a song, let's go for it. I want to listen to what you got, and we're gonna have a ball, because I want everybody to come out. Let's make it bigger than life. And Pizza Avenue has the best wings. Okay, lemon pepper wings are the best.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Caramel. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. It has been a blast, and it's amazing how much you and I have in common.
I know, right? Oh, I love you already, Jennifer. Thank you for having me, and I just wish you the best of everything that you got going on.
Thank you. You too. And I can't wait to get my hands on a copy of your book and to watch the movie. That's what I'm going to do this weekend. I'm very excited.
You let me know how you like it.
I will. And thank you all out there in the interweb for tuning in. All the links are below so you can find Caramel. If you're in Florida, check out her open mic. And I challenge you to do something you never thought you would do. Maybe it's comedy, maybe it's music, maybe it's poetry, maybe it's something completely different. Let us know what it is in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe and have a magical day.